to the dunes, baby. The roughest track on the national circuit. Here we go, MX2. Look at this huge bank corner. Left-hander off the start. First MX2 moto. Look at Tim Tremblay, very aggressive on the inside. Tremblay gets the first MX2 moto win of his career. Second moto, look at that KTM of Willard on the inside. Almost the same place. Gets by Pugreb. Oh no. Evanil with some problems. Check out Willard flying through the whoops. Oh, baby, it was a rough one, and look at him go. Tremblay making some huge passes. He wants the overall. Gets by Medaglia. Gets by Pugreb. Willard wins the second moto. Tremblay takes the overall to the MX1 class. Look at this turn. Carnage early. Who's going down? Ooh, I think that's Kyle Keith. Look at the special line for Morgan on the outside, baby. Oh my goodness. Waugh was in the lead, but I think he might have run out of go. Ollie Carpenter gets the wave by. Oh no! Blair Morgan kicking, scratching, screaming. Paul Carpenter wins the first MX1 moto. Blackfoot back to the drawing board. Oh, things were looking good for them early though. Look at Colton Fitzgibbon holding off the champ. But then Carpenter goes outside on Waugh to get into second. And then Carpenter goes outside on Fitzgibbon with a little bit of contact. Paul Carpenter took care of business in the sand, and he takes the overall. Mesley and Dubé supporting with the champagne showers to the English breakfast bangers. Willard goes down. Trevor Hall. Ooh, that one had to hurt. And watch this red flag start. Bikes all over the place. And what about Mitchell Cook? Love outdoor motocross, time qualifying practice, MX1 class, Sunday morning, round 3 of the 2007 Monster Energy Motocross Nationals. Mark Travers and Brian Costner in Morden, Manitoba, the Shadow Valley Raceway. Brian, it's been raining all morning, and this track is a mess.
It has been raining on and off. Right now it's stopped. The track is actually drying a bit with this wind, so if the rain holds off, this place is going to be perfect. But you know what they say in motocross, Travs? Conditions, same for everyone.
You better believe it. Getting into the MX2 West, which is a brand new championship starting today. Jimmy Nelson on the track yesterday and this morning, unbelievably fast. But Tucker Hibbert on that Kawasaki was looking great, only a second back.
True that, and on paper it was a second, but when you watch them on the track, it looked like Jimmy was going way faster. Tucker Hibbert with that tall, lanky style, super smooth, so deceivingly fast. We got to talk about our third place finisher last year in this series, Gray Davenport. He was on the green Kawasaki last year, switched colors to yellow. He's a late, last-minute replacement rider for Jared Brown, who broke his arm on Wednesday. So everything's developing really fast there. But we got to remember Kyle Beaton, number 20. He's on the white Yamaha, and he's the guy all the Canadian fans are going to hope to see on the box, and he's riding super fast, real aggressive kid.
Oh, you and I just cannot wait for that gate to drop. It's going to be fantastic. Let's go get caught up with those points.
And these points are brought to you by Yamaha Motor Canada. Paul Carpenter way out front, but look at the log jam we've got. Waugh right through to Gibson, right through to Simon Homans. Things are getting tight.
All right, to the MX2 West, of course, 4 rounds, 8 motos for this championship, 40 riders qualifying on the gate. And remember, the rider with the most points at the end of 4 rounds wins the championship. Okay, Fabs, this is the Shadow Valley Raceway. We had some rain this morning. This track is going to be difficult if it stays like this.
It sure is. You can see the track right now. The roller section here, a lot of passes and crashes here, much more difficult with the added rain. Up here on the top section of the track, it's going to be a bit better. They added this sand straightaway from last year, so it should hold up well. But down in the lowlands, the water is going to pool, and we'll get these long ruts into the corners, Travs.
Watch out for those off-cameras. They're going to be gnarly.
What's it going to take to get on the box here in a very uncertain Morden, Manitoba weather condition?
It's going to need a really good start for sure, because, you know, probably after a couple laps, guy's going to have to throw the goggles off. But, you know, stay smooth and relax on the bike, because ruts, I'm sure ruts will be really deep in the corner. Bike's gonna drag down a lot everywhere on the land, on the takeoff, and corners and everywhere. So a good start, and just stay focused and stay the rubber down.
Finishing third in the 2006 MX2 West is number 29 Gray Davenport, albeit that was on a Kawasaki. On a Suzuki this year, a last-minute call-up. Gray, what happened?
Well, about Wednesday of this week, I got a call, you know, come up, see if I wanted to ride some Canadian Nationals. I didn't have much going, so figured I'd come up, give it a try. The bikes are working good. Little late on the setup, you know. Didn't have much time to test or anything like that, but it's working out good. The track's really muddy, and Chris is working way hard on my bike. He's getting it together. Changed some suspension around. I think it's gonna be good today.
To the Scott Helmet Camp, Josh Penner, local boy on a 450 this week. Coming around the top sweeper after the tree line tabletop. You just open the bikes up into this chicane. Full on, left, right. This is Saturday practice. They don't have the rain we've got today, so you can see the track much faster and much more enjoyable. Hang on tight here though, because things are gonna get abbreviated in the rhythm section. Ding, ding, clip a bail. Swap, boom. Helmet cam is over for the day. Josh Penner here knocked himself silly. This footage, courtesy of Destroyer Films, clips the bail and then just clotheslines the next one with his head. Boom. Penner's got to search for his teeth. They're stuck in his lips somewhere. MX next. With last year's MX2 West champion Jimmy Nelson earned that #1 plate on the Blackfoot Honda. This year, the switch to Yamaha. Jimmy, how's it been going? You looked really good out there in practice.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. Felt really good yesterday, and rain today. It's kind of a bummer, but everyone's got to ride it, and just gonna go out there and try to be smart. I know I can't win the championship here this weekend, but I could probably definitely lose it. So I just want to be smart in the mud and try to get as many points as I can. Hopefully get a win, but just try to be consistent and do the best I can.
Welcome to the Shadow Valley Raceway and the start of the MX2 West Series. This first moto will be brought to you by Extreme Motocross Apparel. Sarah Monica with that 30 board up, Brian. She's got a little swagger going. I think the rain's coming down slightly though. Things could get ugly.
It's actually starting to pour rain. Sarah Monica goes to 5, a big downhill shoot here. 40 riders. The outside looks like a good jump. Oh, but in comes, wow, great Davenport on that Suzuki. Just stolen from 103 Hibbert. But Jimmy Nelson right there in tow gets the drive. Look at that, Trav, right into first.
Davenport with that Royal Distributing hole. Shot. Oh, got some contact. Riders down, yellow flags out. Looks like Hibbert might have gone down. There's beaten at number 526, Kevin Urquhart.
Good stuff, good eye there. That is 103 Hibbert down on the start. And in these muddy conditions, Hammers, it is very hard to regroup and get back to the front of the pack.
Into the Yamaha of camber, of course, Nelson out front. There's Davenport. And look at number 235, Ben Evans from Boise, Idaho.
An import. He's been loving this program on the airwaves, wanted to come up and give it a try, running right near the front of the pack. Contact in the back double, and you can see they can't even get the drive to jump that double. It's so slick. A tire choice, very critical here because it's a hard base underneath.
Oh, Brian, look at the contact here early between Davenport and Evans, and young 17-year-old Ben Evans with a great line on the outside. Davenport not giving up though. High speed section, Brian, coming to that double.
Well, Davenport turned heads last year. Came up much like Evans did as a privateer on his own dime with his own Kawasaki. Ended up riding well and got a shot at riding with the Richmond Cowie factory team. Hibbert down again. This is not going to help him or the Monster Energies team's hopes here in this 4-race series.
You better believe it, our top 5 riders will tie through the rhythm section. Look at number 20, Kyle Beaton on the outside. I love the drive. Looking, oh my goodness, is beating on the gas.
That is an aggressive, that is just determination right there. He's a young, brash kid. And those rollers there have been taking prisoners all weekend. Now with the mud, they're able to double. So actually a pretty good way to get through there right now.
That sand section allowing the riders to get some good drive over top of that lifter down to the valley, but this section is gross and sloppy. There's Urquhart 545, Davenport falling back to fourth, and Ben Evans still in second.
This Urquhart kid out of nowhere riding really well. Davenport did have a big slide out bobble that lap to lose those positions. Gotta like Evans, right? 17 years old, and he is a really nice kid. He's a hard worker, he's an honored student. I tell you, his parents are really proud of him, but motocross right now is his life.
Did you see the way the ruts were developing on the inside? Evans goes outside with a real smooth line, carrying of a lot of speed. Right now, this is the battle for fourth. Urquhart, Davenport, look at the... Oh! Davenport just about off the bike, and he doesn't make that double jump right off the side of the track.
Well, that's legal as long as no positions change and you get back on the track safely right away. Hibbert rolling around this track big time, passing guys left, right, and center traps. He's up to just outside the top 20.
He does not have to panic, Brian. This is a long moto, and he's got to think about getting points because it is a short series. And you're right, he is on the gas large. And look at this, number 32, Eric Nye, who did not get a great start, is starting to move through the pack, and he looks like he's just inside the top 10.
You see riders on this track going off all over the place, on the infield, on the grass. They get skittered off. You see, they're racing right now. This is the battle for second, and they're pushing so hard. And when you push this hard in these conditions, it's easy to get drifted off the track or a little cross-rutted. Right now, though, Travs, Jimmy Nelson riding the wheels off this Blackfoot Direct Yamaha. They're getting sponsored by Fox as well. He's a class of the field pulling away.
Number 43, that's Andrew Blinn off to the side of the track having some problems. And you're right, Jimmy Nelson, super fast in practice yesterday. Last year on this track, he was untouchable. But look at Evans closing the gap, and there's Kyle Beaton in third.
Beaton making up all kinds of ground that last lap on Evans. Evans in trouble, coming down these long hills. The ruts are starting to form, but the ruts are crisscrossing and just tossing the bikes everywhere. Oh, a big problem for Dustin Hayes. He just parks himself as Maffenbeier gets by. This is 14th place, and the guy's battling hard right through the field.
And there goes Enduro rider Corey Graffender, who's on the KTM looking good. Okay, Brian, into the big sweeper section. Still carrying a lot of speed, but it's very slick, and you see the ruts developing, coming into the rollers. Evans on the outside, Kyle Beaton on the inside with some great drive. Oh, Evans with the look over. That is trouble, Brian. That is big trouble. Kyle Beaton with the crossover. Wow. Very experienced move for that young rider. Talent.
Unbelievable. That is where he set up his last pass on the outside all the way around. He saw that Evans was blocking the outside. What did Beaton do? He just let off for a sec, tucked in, and just opened the throttle wide, made the pass. A very aggressive move. Right now, Evans and Beaton are still going back and forth. Travers back and forth for second place. They are side by side here.
Look at the size of the ruts down there, causing a lot of problems. Brian, you talked about the valleys collecting a lot of water. It's super slick down there, and the ruts are going inside, outside. Kyle Beaton maintaining second place. Look at number 103. That's Tucker Hibbert on that Monster Energy Kawasaki on the outside of Eric Nye. He's into fifth place. He has been slicing and dicing through the pack. He is now in a point position.
Without question, one of the faster men on the track. Back to the Kyle Beaton pass. This is where he puts his head up. If he cuts too early, he's going to tag the back of Evans' bike, so he has to really keep his sights on what's going on. Now, here they are again, coming down the long chute. Beaton on the inside. Evans has gotten back by him on that lap. Beaton comes through, sees the inside, sees the lap rider there, goes for the outside where the rut is not nearly as deep. Evans, you can see, paddling his way through. Kyle Beaton, just a little bit more traction on that Yamaha, gets around to get into second.
Looks like you really want to carry a light front end coming into those ruts, because if you put too much weight on it, a lot of sliding out through there, and you're right, the outside rut was way better. There's our leader, number 1, Jimmy Nelson, coming into the sand section, and Kyle Beaton is picking up the pace. He's closed the gap, looking good in second.
Right now, Jimmy Nelson's mechanics are telling him he's got a sizable lead, so maybe he's backing it off a bit. You can see the rain pouring down. Davenport, all kinds of trouble stuck in this goop. There's Eric Nye. He's just going by for 4th place. We just got a report that one of the fastest riders, Tucker Hibbert, is off to the side with a bike problem. So Nye takes 4th. Hibbert with the ride of the day out.
Super impressed with Eric Nye. Did not get a great start outside of the top 20, but again, Brian, you have to be patient in these conditions, and if you are a fast rider, you can dice through the pack. Kyle Beaton coming up and getting his last lap flag. He is in second place.
Beaton looks quite poised right now. looks over to see where Evans is. The rain really starting to pour. He's just got to keep it upright and stay out of those deep ruts. Quite impressed with Kyle Beaton's ride today.
Back to our leader, number 1, that's Jimmy Nelson, and you notice that Nelson does not have his goggles on, Brian. I just noticed that he had tossed the goggles off with about a lap left to go, but he does not have any lap traffic right now. Nelson has to keep the bike going, stay up, Brian. He's on his final approach. He's looking good for the win here.
Well, with no goggles, you're getting pelted in the face with rain, and that really hurts at these speeds. He's still on the gas, and then you have to contend with roots, so very dangerous to be out there with no goggles. Good thing he's only got one more corner. A great ride for Jimmy Nelson. Wire-to-wire win in the opening moto of the West Coast MX2 Championship. Yamaha, he's new on Yamaha again, just like the rest of the team. They've got to be stoked.
The defending champion in the MX2 class takes the first moto win. We'll be right back.
Jimmy Nelson, the conditions were horrible, pouring rain. You got a great start, you pulled out the win. Talk to us about the conditions.
Oh, the track's getting horrible out there, man. It's survival for sure. I had to throw my goggles on the last lap, ran out of tear-ups, and the rain's coming down so hard you can't look but a foot in front of you without just getting full of it. So towards the end there, it was getting pretty sketchy, but I got a little bit of a gap, so I just on cruise control big time those last 2 laps.
Ben Evans, all the way up from Boise, Idaho. You kept your head down, came out here as an unknown entity. You bagged 3rd, you got to feel good.
Yeah, it felt great. It was awesome. Muddiest race I've ever ridden, actually. It was gnarly. I was having a good time. I had a horrible gate pick and came out real strong off the line and clear from the outside. And I got past once, and I'm not sure if Beaton fell or not. I thought I had 2nd, but it's hard to tell. It's so muddy out there. It's crazy.
You know what? You may have gotten 2nd because it was so hard to see numbers on that last lap. We're going to have to get the official result. Nonetheless, you kept your head down. What was worse out there, the slippery conditions or the rain beating into your face?
Yeah, I actually had to make a goggle swap in the middle of the moto. I couldn't even see. The water got under my roll-offs, and we had to stop and switch, so the rain was, I think, gnarlier, just so you couldn't even see the ruts and stuff.
He's finally cleaned up after a magnificent performance in the mud. Number 20, Kyle Beaton. Kyle, you look spectacular out there. Some great lines, but boy, was it treacherous, man.
Yeah, you know, the rain started coming down as soon as we started getting into our gates, and at first it was just a little sprinkle, and at the beginning of the moto, the track was actually really good, but it started coming down heavily, and it turned into an ice rink.
There was a time there where you thought you might have had a chance for the lead. Looked like maybe you backed it off. That looked like when the track was actually at its worst, so probably a smart situation there.
Yeah, you know that this is a short series and you got to stay consistent. So as I'm getting older and more races down the road, I think I'm getting a little bit smarter and just kind of toned it down a bit. I lost my goggles there at the end of the race and went off the track once too at the beginning when I was catching Jimmy there for a bit. But you know, Jimmy rode awesome, and hopefully we can just be consistent for the rest of the season.
Big controversy in the first moto. Nelson and Beaton jump on the yellow. Evans is our winner. Eric Nye, Davenport, Kiefer gets 4th. And how about one of Jerry's kids, Dustin Hayes, 10th.
Finishing 2nd overall last week at round 2 at Gopher Dunes. Number 9, the chopper, Chuck Mesley. Chuck, we're here in Morden for round 3. Privateering it again. What's going on?
Yeah, Nelson takes us to all the East rounds, and me and Kyle, because Kyle drives back and forth, he's going to go back after Regina. So, yeah, I just came out with my truck and trailer, and with pretty much the rest of the Ontario boys, I picked up Johnny, come and met me, and drove out with me, and we're just going to do the whole thing right here for the whole 5 weeks, so it's going to be fun. I've always been plagued with injuries, and finally come in a lot better shape than I was last year. Got my bike a lot earlier, and yeah, just been able to train a lot more, and finally can show everybody what kind of speed I have.
The rain has slowed down, but the track is a mess. Stick around, MX1 on the line.
Welcome back to the Monster Energy Motocross Nationals in Morden, Manitoba, the Shadow Valley Raceway. MX1 boys on the line, Brian, and it is just a goopy, slick mess everywhere. The rain has stopped. This moto will be brought to you by MX Performance Magazine. I don't know what's gonna happen here because it's a mess out there.
It sure is. This is a concrete starting pad here. The California guys love it. They're used to it, but it's wet. They're not used to it being wet. So it is anyone's game right here for the whole shot. Sara Monica goes to 5 with that Monster Energy board. The gate is gonna drop. Travers, check it out. A good jump from the riders in the middle.
Riders funneling into that left-hander. Look at number 25, Tyler Natalia with the slide and the Royal Distributing Hose. Yeah.
I think he got both wheels over that line at the same time. Yes, a rider down. Medaglia holds on to second. Mitch Cook, his teammate, out front right now. And look at the riders with their head down, taking punishment. This is 2 corners in. You can't even see the numbers.
Oh my God, punishing, and just a sloppy mess coming out of that section. They can't carry a lot of speed because it is so slippery. Right now, Mitch Cook in the lead. Blair Morgan with a great start, and Tyler Medaglia still in third. Okay, coming in the off-camera, Brian, this is where the water's been pooling. It's gonna be diddled here. Very slick, especially when the group comes in.
Oh, a tidal wave off of Cook's front wheel. Morgan comes through. Oh, tidal waves from everyone. Medaglia now back to 4th place. You can't even recognize these guys. It is full survival. You talk about technique. You talk about steering with the legs, waiting the outside peg, keep the front end light. You know what? All that means nothing out here. Survival, staying on the bike. Carpenter comes through just inside the top 10, and there goes Phillips and Fasciati. Oh my goodness, carnage out there.
Number 9, Chuck Mesley, gets hung up on that. Look at the size of that rut, Ryan, and it's full of water at the bottom, as slippery as can be. You know what, if you're a rider right now, all you want to do is just stay up. Don't worry about making passes, just stay up. Make your way through all this commotion, and then you can start to make some passes. Blair Morgan gets hung up, Brian, and look at number 27, Tim Tremblay. First time on the big bike this season. He is now into 2nd place.
He passed Medaglia earlier. Morgan paddling through. You can see a 2-time champion struggling out here like an amateur. I mean, all these guys are struggling, and like you say, you want to keep moving, don't stall, and don't fall. That is the key to a mud race. You can see the sun's starting to shine. It's getting nice out, but the track, the damage is done. It is, I tell you, very punishing out there, and these riders are earning every cent they make on this racetrack.
Number 102, that's Jeff Gibson in 3rd place. A great start for him. He needs this, but look at young Tyler Medaglia on the outside with that Suzuki with the crossover line. Gibson off the track. Medaglia now into 3rd place. Medags is looking good.
Just sauced himself right in the face off his own front wheel. That's how grueling this is. You don't even need to be around other riders. And when you are around other riders, the roost is punishing, and it just paints the goggles. Cook, look at the gap Cook's got right now. Looking beautiful. And these conditions favor the taller, stronger riders. The short riders can get through well, but they're working harder. It's harder for them to paddle and stay upright. Cook, a big man, he's got about 10 seconds now on Tremblay, who's also extremely tall in 2nd.
If you're a rider and you're in the lead right now, you could not possibly want it any way else because you're looking clear. There's nobody around you, you're not getting roosted, and you can ride your own race, pick your own lines. Right now, he's looking at about a 15-second lead. That is huge on a track like this, especially if you're going to go down, Brian. You need that time to get up and regroup. But look at the battling on the track. Tim Tremblay can't even recognize him. Tyler Medaglia coming up through the mud into the left-hander. Looks for the inside line. You can't even carry your momentum into those corners.
Medaglia sees the opportunity and gets the position. Tremblay yanks a tear off, which throws off your concentration. Then we've got 102, that is Gibson. He's sniffing around for the position.
Number 2, John Sebastian Waugh crashed at the start, Brian. Now into the whoop-de-doos. He has to battle his way back. Remember, like the first moto, be patient. You have a lot of time. Make some passes. Get into that point situation.
Well, there's a rider down, and that is where Waugh went down off the start, just right at that bend. Started 2nd last. He is one of the fastest riders on the track. The timesheets will substantiate that. Waugh on the move, big time.
That rider down was Jay Burke. He also crashed in the first corner. Look at Tyler Medaglia. I cannot believe the poise right now, paddling his way, but Tim Tremblay. For both of these riders, Brian, this is the first MX1 race of their season, and they look spectacular.
Look at the size difference right there. Medaglia, much shorter. Tremblay on the outside. They're still clearing that tree line table into that high-speed switchback section. New Zealander Mason Phillips with a decent start. He's down. You can see the KTM boys trying to help him out there, get him motivated. But it's hard to really get your mojo. There's John Sebastian. He is using all the racetrack. He's using lines that nobody else is, favoring the outside and carrying his speed. We got to keep an eye on his progress here as Mitch Cook doing everything right in these conditions, Trav, pulling his lead even further.
The one thing about a race like this, Brian, is it's not just about the mud and the slippery conditions. It's the mud that gets packed on the bike. It makes it much heavier. If the bike goes down, it's harder to pick up. It's tougher to navigate out on the track. Everything about this is difficult. Back to the battle for a second. Medaglia and Tremblay. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Nice
Tremblay off the track, almost into the mechanics.
Yes.
And Medaglia maintains his drive and still in second place.
I like what I see from young Medaglia, using all the track, cutting off Tim Tremblay. This is for money and points and positions. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Medaglia, tough nut. Kyle Keese, number 30 on that Machine Racing Honda 450. His move all the way up to 4th place, and he's looking around at Tremblay right now. And again, Trav's a big, strong guy in Kyle Keese. His nickname is the Bulldozer.
Well, you talk about a guy that can handle a heavy bike right now. This is the man, number 30, Kyle Keese. And look at the way he massaged his way on the inside back to our leader, number 38, Mitch Cook, who obviously knows how to ride the mud, Brian. Accelerating where there's some dry spots, slowing down, being tentative in those corners. Look at that off camber. That is disgusting.
This is pure work. Look at these guys paddling, slip sliding. Tires are just scrambling for traction. And Ryan Lockhart doing well right there, just tags a downed rider. Oh my goodness. And it's so hard to get the bike going again. Oh, he doesn't stall it. He keeps going. Oh, he pulls the goggles and stalls the bike. Oh, if only he'd waited a couple seconds. He's in a whole world of hurt right now.
Even in a situation where the yellow flag is out, you can't just change direction because it is so slippery. Paul Carpenter navigating his way through the toughest part of the track. That's number 220, Josh Schneider. Oh my goodness, now Gibson is over the bars as he runs into Schneider.
I'm wondering where the flagger is. No one can seem to see.
On the downside of the jump, for sure.
Or what's happening is they just cannot get out of the way quick enough. Jean-Sébastien Waugh now has got his front wheel axle deep. He's in trouble. 5-time Canadian champ, fastest man on the track, goggles around his wrist. He's off the motorcycle.
Brian, look at Keith on the outside, checks back, gets by Tremblay, and here comes Carpenter. That is 3rd, 4th, and 5th into that disgusting off-camber run. The augers are out, but look at Carpenter, super aggressive. He'll do anything to get through as he swings by Tremblay, and now he's going to keep his eyes on Keith.
This is like a 6-day enduro special test section. Survival. Jean-Sébastien Waugh now has to lay his bike over to pull out that rut. This is like that Erzberg World's toughest race. I'm telling you, we've made reference to that before. But the champ exasperated, but not giving up. A true champion in Jean-Sébastien Waugh.
Well, right now, you just have to do anything to stay out on the track. If he can get his bike going, maybe he makes a pit stop, who knows. Number 38, Mitch Cook, doing what he has to do to stay in the lead. Look at these riders still carrying his speed through the rhythm section. Brian, look at that. Is that Keith on the outside? Holy mackerel, he'll do anything as he slips by Medaglia and moves into 2nd place.
Wow, Medaglia didn't jump. Keith did. That was great. I think Cook is actually getting faster as he gets his rhythm and his lines. He's flying out there. Waugh comes in for a goggle change. Look at that. Nathaniel Bosum's mechanic on the left helping out, cleaning the champ's grips. He's not even a Blackfoot mechanic. He's helping out his good buddy Jean-Sébastien Waugh. Loving the teamwork and camaraderie out here in the Canadian Nationals.
A lot of time left for Waugh, Brian. He's just got to maintain some drive and see if he can pick off a few riders. There's Tyler Medaglia right now in 3rd place, looking pretty good. He's all by himself. Dry line on the inside. I like that.
Both feet off the pegs, whatever it can take. Waugh slip sliding away. He's got some good vision now with those dogs. He is on it big time. Look at him go out here. Wow, he is, you know what the thing is with Waugh? He's angry right now. He's got nothing to lose. He's down a couple laps, so he's just got the throttle tap. He wants to get back. Look at this, our leader, Mitch Cook, soldiering away, singing and zagging through the hay bales. And this guy right now, people, 1st place. Just lost a bunch of time right there.
Oh, that is just totally out of control. We have a rider down at the side of the track, and now Marco Dubé, he's just weaving his way through traffic. Brian, those sections are super tough because it's slippery and very difficult to get up the hill. Here comes the champ. Look at him miring through those huge ruts. Oh, and he just gets caught front-footed and just maintains his balance. Brian doing anything just to carry his speed.
That little section there causing all kinds of trouble. That's where Cook had his problem. Look at this, sitting up on the tank, both feet down, paddling along. There's our leader, Ocean Transportation.
Oh, nice move as he gets by Dubé.
Just gets out of Dubé's way there at the last second, could you imagine? And look at this rider, Colton Fasciati, just doing 360s here. Can't even get going. Toronto's pin just these guys are having a hard time.
At least he was able to maintain the bike's momentum and didn't stall it. As we get back,
oh my, Mitch Cook, our leader goes down. He body rolls a flagger. She's okay. He is too, but the motorcycle is stalled. He's going for the kickstart. He's looking back. What is gonna happen here? Kyle Keast has moved up to second. He's coming up the straightaway right now. And there he goes, Kyle Keast into first place in these treacherous conditions on that machine racing motorcycle. They gotta be stoked there in Sutton, Ontario.
Brian, we were talking about patience. Kyle Keast has been very patient, slowly picking up riders, waiting for Cook to make a mistake. Cook goes down. Keast is in first place. This is the battle for third place. We've got number 101, Paul Carpenter on the inside. Medallion moves from fourth into third as he passes Carpenter. Look at them swapping side to side. Get the augers out, boys. Maintain your position. Carpenter now into third.
Carpenter from Ithaca, New York, upstate New York, that borders with Ontario. Real close as far as weather and a lot of rain and similar dirt in upstate New York is here. So Carpenter, and we also have to remember Carpenter is a four-stroke specialist. All kinds of four-stroke championships under his belt. So he's super comfortable on these big 450s.
And the 450 is the bike of choice, Brian, in these conditions. A lot of the riders using slipper clutches. As we get back to the sand section, the lifter down into the valley. There's number 101, Paul Carpenter, and Jean-Sébastien Waugh is on a tear, Brian, trying to unlap himself. Does he have Carpenter on the outside? Yes, he does.
Waugh was 2 laps down. Last lap, 20 seconds faster than our leader. Unlapped himself. Right, he's on the go, our leader. That is Keast. He is down. I don't know if it's a bike problem or if it was just a slide out. No goggles on Keast. And there's fourth place. Steaming up big time in the Ocean Transport Suzuki Travs. We don't know if he can make it.
Hey, look at this. The fans at the Shadow Valley Raceway are loving the race in here on the track in Morden, Manitoba. Your race leader, number 38, Mitch Cook, who led wire to wire, had a problem. Keast took over the lead, went down. Cook is back in the race. Number 42, Mason Phillips in fourth place.
We're seeing lots of bikes struggling right here. All the coolant getting out of the bike. But we've just had a report that our second place rider, Paul Carpenter, has pulled into the mechanics area and they've topped up his coolant in his radiators. Put the cap back on and sent him back out on the track. He's still in second place. That's cool.
Mason Phillips having some issues. It's that one part of the track that's causing riders a lot of problems. There's your leader, number 38, Mitch Cook, getting his last lap flag. Ryan, the one thing you want to see as a racer right now is the last lap flag.
You're praying for the white flag, but you really want to see those checkers. And right now, that's what Cook's praying for. And you see what happened in the other motos on the last lap. Anything can happen, but right now his bike is looking strong. There's no steam or smoke coming out of it. Carpenter right now has managed to get himself up to second with a stalled right. And Mitch Cook, our leader, is down again on the last lap, and he's kept the bike running. And look at that steam. Oh! And Jean-Sébastien Waugh right in front of the spectator gallery. Those guys up on that transport watching the champ fall down. That is 3 huge crashes for John in this moto.
Look at Mitch Cook. He's got banners all over him. He's paddling through the deepest rut in that off-camber. There is 2 off-cambers there, Brian, and they are both difficult.
Oh my goodness.
Look at Cook's bike. There's a lot of water in the bottom of those ruts, so obviously his bike is steaming like crazy. He has got to get up over the hill.
This is our first place rider, and he's off pushing. He's got a banner stuck up on the front end. You rarely see the banner up there. This corner marshal tries to pull the banner out. Doesn't do much good at all. The steam is pouring out. Now, I think that right there is more than going through a puddle.
Well, it must be
some issues.
There's Cook right there getting by Waugh into this slippery section. Oh my goodness, no. Doing absolutely anything he can do. Brian, you want to talk about determination. He was pushing his bike up the hill. That man wants to win.
Can you believe on the last lap the problem he's having? Carpenter stopping to top up the coolant has given him the breathing room to make those mistakes and maintain first place, because if Carpenter didn't pull in, he would have been knocking on the door for the win.
Number 27, Tim Tremblay in third place. He's got banners hanging all over his bike, soldiering his way with a podium position to our leader, number 38, Mitch Cook, on his final approach, Brian. He's got to be very careful right now because he doesn't want to get stuck in this left-hander. It's a nasty one.
Well, George Jones, 5-time world champion, has taken Cook under his wing, has become his mentor, and I can see the beer flowing in Belgium right now as George Jones celebrates along with Mitch Cook a hard-fought moto win here in Morden, Manitoba. Welcome back to the Monster Energy Motocross Nationals here at Shadow Valley Raceway in Morden, Manitoba. To the leaderboard, brought to you by Yamaha, Cook and Carpenter, Tremblay on the box. How about Phillips and Lockhart with all their problems? And Waugh finishes 7th.
Taking the win in the first MX1 Moto, a mudder, number 38, Mitch Cook, with the first MX1 Moto win of his career. Mitch, it was a crazy one out there, buddy. Talk to us about it.
He's got a good start, stayed out of all the carnage and back, and I guess I got a big lead in the first couple laps, which helped me out huge. And I tried to keep it on 2 wheels. I mean, I didn't still. I mean, I tried my hardest, still fell. Everybody else did too. It was impossible to stay up out there, and I just dug deep in, and what can I say? It's a mud race.
Coming into the third round, our points leader, number 101 on that Cernix Monster Kawasaki, Paul Carpenter. A heck of a moto, soldiered your way to second. You crashed off the start, Paul. You still made it. Talk to us about the conditions out there.
Absolutely brutal. I mean, you could barely make it around the track. It's just mud so deep, and there was bikes everywhere and guys everywhere, and I mean, just paddling the whole way. I don't think I ever stood up. So
that's what I call survival. But were you able to know where you were on the track? Your mechanics telling you? I know it was really confusing.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job at keeping track of where we were. I didn't actually know exactly where I was until probably a little after halfway, and they said I got up to second, and I had no idea who was winning, and I had no idea who was where. So I just kept riding, and I was really happy to see the checkers.
Number 27, Tim Tremblay, third in the first MX1 Moto. Tim, big smiles on your face. You must be happy. A real tough track out there.
Yeah, the track is so rough, very muddy, and it's just so tough to ride.
Thinking about your experiences, have you ridden a lot of mud, or is that something that you test, is it?
Yeah, I practice a lot in the mud. When we have rain at home and anybody doesn't ride but me, I ride, and that's why I finish on the podium.
Talk to me about the first time on the big bike this season, obviously the third round. You've been doing well in MX2, but all of a sudden now you're on the podium in MX1. This is a dream season for you, Tim.
Yeah, it's just so nice. I practice a lot in 250F and maybe just 10 hours on my 450. It's just so nice.
Ask anybody who rides a motocross bike, whether it's recreational or whether they race, either amateur or pro, why they do it, and they'll tell you it's because it's fun. But with that fun comes some inherent risk, and each rider can protect themselves from that inherent risk with their protective riding gear, starting off with the boots. All the way up to gloves, helmet and goggles, chest protector, and the newest piece of safety equipment out on the market right now, which is called a Leap brace, which is similar to a Hans device that you might see in motorcar racing. The Leap brace is actually very simple. It attaches around the neck like a normal horse collar, and when clicked on and worn with a chest protector, what it does is it protects the neck from hyperextending both forwards and backwards. Now, currently, these things are not mandatory. It's to the rider's discretion as to whether they want to wear it. In a year or two, maybe we'll see these be a mandatory piece in a sport that just keeps changing year in year and getting faster and faster.
To the Monster Energy FMX Freestyle Show, this is Frantic City. The tune is Drop the Bomb. And this is Benoit Milot's Invasion, shot by Felix Trepanier. Drop the bomb!
Falls one by one. You can't kill with a plastic gun. It's getting heavy, but it's feeling light. He's under radar, he's underway. A little big man made a big mistake. He's on his belly, his last breath. He cried for mama.
Welcome back to the Monster Energy Motocross Nationals in Morden, Manitoba, and the Shadow Valley Raceway. Brian, we've got a situation developing here. The MX2 riders and teams have some concerns about the track and whether they should actually run this moto.
Wow, you can see the stress on the face of CMRC president and founder, the grand poobah of Canadian motocross, Mark Stollybrous, not pleased that the riders are voicing concerns about the track and safety issues. Now, the rules state the only way a moto is canceled is by lightning, the track is flooded or impassable, or there is a lack of ambulance or paramedic on site.
Brian, right now Chick Shumlis is out on the track trying to get some of that slop off the top to make this track passable to see if they can get this moto run. Possibly they're going to remove sections of the track that are impassable, but if they're given the time, they should be able to get this track going.
Absolutely, and like we said earlier, it stopped raining, but the damage on the track is done. Now these 250F machines are, I mean, it's a lot harder for them to make it up the hills and through the mud. The engines are so much more stressed than the bigger 450s to begin with. You take them at this pro level, these manufacturers and race teams have got the bikes tweaked to the max. They generally need rebuilding after every race weekend because they've got them so finely tuned that they're practically going to grenade as it is. Now you add all this mud and slop, and that's why we're seeing so many failures out there.
Not to mention the privateers who, of course, only have one bike, and if they blew that up in the first moto, they wouldn't be able to ride. You can see the team manager having some problems. Here is a part of the track that has already been groomed, and still, the slop is off to the side, but that part of the track is slick. Although the hard base, though, you can see the hard base areas there.
Yeah, they're getting down to some of pretty decent raceable conditions. The mud is coming off the top right now.
Dry stuff.
Yeah,
right
there is some dry stuff underneath. So I think with a little time, we could have a great racetrack on our hands.
They have the opportunity of manipulating the moto, making it shorter, as we said, cutting the track, but everybody has to be in agreement, I guess, or maybe the CMRC needs to make a decision here. What happens?
Well, what we're looking at right now is a lot of the team managers there chatting. A faithful, loyal bunch of fans here. I tell you, my hat's off to them for sitting around and waiting for all this to transpire. Look at all the slop being pushed off this track. It's a huge track to have to clear. Chick's got his mitts full there, running the dozer. Riders milling around, waiting for a final decision. That's up next.
Welcome back to the Monster Energy Motocross Nationals from the Shadow Valley Raceway. Brian, we've got a situation here. The MX2 West Moto has been canceled by the CMRC. They set up an MX1 Moto for 5 o'clock, but look at this. The riders are protesting. They're signing a petition. The riders and teams do not want to race.
Well, what the teams decided was that there would be a 15-minute plus 1 lap MX1 race. So the teams in the CMRC are agreeing to this. The riders now have taken it upon themselves to protest the moto. They need 5 guys minimum to actually have a race that counts. We've got a few guys lined up that are willing to race and are turning their back on this so-called rider protest.
And you see Randy Hall right here saying that the second MX1 Moto is not canceled. The MX2 race was canceled by the CMRC. The MX1 race has not been canceled.
Right, and it's been agreed with the teams that it's going on. We've got a very tough situation here with the riders protesting. Let's go trackside with head referee Randy Hall and our very own Mark Travers.
Standing by with CMRC head referee Randy Hall. Randy, some tough decisions had to be made today with both the MX2 class and the MX1 class. Maybe you can walk us through it.
Well, the MX2 class was canceled by the CMRC because we felt that the track was impassable. Then we opted to prepare the track with that extra time to make it possible for the MX1 class. And the riders and teams had opted not to ride the track at that point.
So basically what we're saying is that the CMRC had the track ready, but there was a majority vote, was there, between teams and riders to not ride in that second MX1 Moto?
Yeah, there appears to be that the riders got together and took a vote and had opted not to ride.
The points tally after, let's say, 1 moto here in the West, brought to you by Yamaha. Kiefer does great. Hoyer in 5th. 5th. Kyle McGlynn, amateur rider, nails down 7th. Mud, the great equalizer.
To the MX1 class, after 2.5 rounds, we see Paul Carpenter with a nice lead over Mitch Cook, who's made his way into 2nd. Waugh in 3rd. Dubé looking good. Gibson, Lockhart, Keaston, Simon Holmes. Hey Brian, check this out. The CMRC has decided to run what they're calling a good times moto. Show up on the line, race for the total purse, no points. 6 riders out on the track, and look at Davey Fraser blast through and get that Royal Distributing Hush. Yeah.
Kudos to Fraser for basically, you know, for lack of a better term here, Travis, crossing the picket line. There was riders kind of threatening him if he went out to ride. Most of the guys out here are local. Josh Schneider and Davey Fraser are the only 2 riders here that aren't local boys. So the crowd, though, Travis, are loving the fact that these 6 athletes have gone out to put on a show. Fraser, the fastest guy out there, but he's been falling down. So right now, Mike Harms, number 95, in the point position.
And the thing that's neat right now is you can see the track is rideable. These guys are out there racing. We've got Jamie Kennedy out on the track. Also David Ladarty. We've also got Matt Hammond, as you said, local boy Mike Harms. So we've got some racing and the fans are going crazy.
Harms out front, sponsored by a lot of local businesses. Harms actually got 32nd in the first moto. Fraser got 21st, Snyder 23rd, and Ladarny nailed a 26th in the first one. Now the track is drying up. They're getting big air. The lap times here, Traps, considerably faster than the first moto.
They certainly are. And you look at Fraser off the big lifter down into the valley. And this was one of the most difficult parts in the first moto, Brian.
And look how long Fraser holds it on. The track drying up to be a fantastic racetrack. It could have and should have been MX1 National, but Harms, local boy, takes the win and $1,000 that goes with it.
And Brian, a huge number of the fans stayed to watch this race. Of course, they were looking for the MX1 race, and they got a great good times moto. Florida Evans, JJ Walker, they were all here.
Dynamite, there's our 2nd place man, David Ladarny. Jamie Kennedy 3rd, and our winner, Mike Harms, will go down in history as the winner of the Good Times Moto here in Morden, Manitoba. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I've had a great time. Hope you have too. See you next week.
You have been watching the 2007 Monster Energy Motocross Nationals. Brought to you by Motovan, the source for power sports parts and accessories. And Royal Distributing, Canada's power sports leader. For Brian Coster, I'm Mark Church. To all the great fans here in Manitoba, thanks very much. We're out.